Hi, I'm Diane from Falcon.
And I'm Emmeline. I'm her model today.
This is the next section of the Ultimate Measuring Guide, and it's going to cover the diagonal measurements. This in your Ultimate Measuring Guide is number 41 to number 48. These are often measurements that people have never heard of and have never taken before. So I'm going to spend a little extra time demonstrating how to do it and why it matters. So we'll get started. We're going to start with the front shoulder slope. That's number 41 in your measuring guide. And it really is, what it does is it measures how wide your shoulders are in relation to the upper part of your body. So as you did with the shoulder measurement, you're going to find your bone, your shoulder bone, which is right here, right, Emmeline? And you're going to go from that point to center front at the waist. So you have your horizontal balance lines and your vertical center front balance line, and you're going to do that right there. And you're going to do that on your right and your left. And you may notice when you do that your shoulders aren't even. Mine certainly are, and a lot of people's are. In fact, I think that's probably more common that we're uneven in our shoulders than we are even. That's a really important one to keep in mind. From there, we're going to measure what's called a princess line, which if you've ever had a princess line top or dress, you know is this line that goes from halfway between your shoulders and your neck and goes down the front of your body and kind of continues across your bust line and down to your waist. This is an important measurement if you ever have a princess line garment that you want to make, or even just to measure that difference and how it varies from some of the other vertical measurements that we're going to take later on. So you need to find the point between your neck and your shoulder bone. So maybe just measure that, take half, and consider that the top of your princess line. And if you hold your tape measure here, you're going to just go down across the fullest point of your bust. And you're going to go down all the way to your waist. And it should be the halfway point. You can measure, if you like, the halfway point between your waist arc. And the princess line is going to go all the way down here to the waist. And you're going to do that on the front, right and left. Next is number 43, which is, I think of all the measurements, the 65 measurements in this guide, the weirdest one, but it's also really critical, particularly for mature figures such as ours. And that's called the strap measurement. And what it's measuring is really your side body and any fullness that you have there. As we age, often flesh tends to settle there like it does in some other places. So I'll show you how that goes. For the front strap, which is number 43, you're going to go from the neck side, from the top line here, and your neck where you marked that, and it's going to curve around, not again against the fullest part of your chest apex like you did with your princess line, but it's going to measure this sort of side body, the area between the fullest point of your bust and your side, and it curves around to the waist at the side. Can you turn toward the camera a little bit? So, Emmeline, thank you. So you can see that's what your strap looks like. And measure it again on the right and the left. And it's really important to assess whether you need some extra room in a pattern on the side there. The next one is the bust depth measurement, and that's really just measuring this area here. So start again from the side of your neck to the fullest point to your bust apex, that line, and again on the right and the left. That's often a good measurement to give you a sense of where your bust point is and where a bust dart needs to lie, and also where if you have a princess seam, where that bust point needs to lie for you. A lot of us, as we get older, our bust point drifts to the south a little, or maybe if we've had a few babies or any number of other things that can happen in our lives. It's very seldom the case that a lot of sewing patterns have that bust point in the right place for mature figures. So be sure to measure that one closely and get it on the right and the left. It may be different. The next one is the bust radius, which is basically just from the highest point under to where the rib cage is. So from here, from this point, just under here. And that also will help you assess what kind of a dart you might need in the bust area for either a princess seam or any other kind of darted top or dress that you might be making. So now, there's a couple of those same measurements we're going to take in the back. So if you can spin around there, Emmeline, thank you. Just as we did for the front with a princess line, there's also a princess line in the back. And it's the same idea. You want to go for halfway between your shoulder point and your neck, and halfway between your side and your center front and your waist. And you want to measure that back princess line, which is probably going to go a little bit at a curve like this. If you've ever had a princess line jacket or a top or something, you'll see that that's exactly where that line goes. Measure that front and back. And then finally, you're going to take your shoulder measurement in the back. So again, from that shoulder point to center back at the waist, which is another really good measurement. A lot of us, as we age, we tend to need additional room back here. This will help you determine how much your shoulders maybe have moved forward, or if you have roundness in your back, as many of us do as we age. That's a good measurement for you to have. The final measurement in the curved and diagonal measurements in the Ultimate Measuring Guide is number 48, which is our friend the crotch length. If you've ever made a pair of pants, jeans, trousers, you know that this is an essential measurement to make sure that you get that whole crotch area fitting you the way you want it to fit. And it's a simple measurement, really. You just are going to take your tape and, excuse me, Emmeline, we're going to get a little up close and personal now. You're going to go from your center back, so excuse me, all right, center back at the waist, and you're going to just take your tape measure and go around. You want the tape measure to be touching your body, not dangling and not too tight, and just take that measurement. That's really essential to be sure that you're getting the best fit that you can with pants. That concludes the measurements for the various diagonal and curved parts of the body. And now we're going to go on to the vertical measurements.